Hi there, welcome back for another video. In this video we're going to be looking at installing the AK wiring loom and the Canems wiring loom. Before that I've got a couple of fittings that I need to show you, and finally if you can give me a like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. It doesn't really impact you, but it could help me out a hell of a lot. Let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the oil pressure light and gauge. Normally that's fitted to a whole Christmas tree of fittings that you have to unscrew this OEM connector and put in what AK supply to you. That will be a light to light up the light on the dash, and also a sender to make the gauge work, or the oil pressure gauge. Well, I don't really like that setup. I'd rather use this OEM fixing, and the new Canems wiring loom plugs straight into this, which is great. It also has an out for the light on the dashboard. However, we need to be able to make the gauge work. So what I've done, I'll try and zoom in a little bit down here. I've actually taken off a blanking plate on the bottom, just above the oil filter, and I've put in a plate there that has the correct threaded outlet, and I've plugged in the sender, or screwed in the sender down there. So I'm hoping I can now plug this into the gauge on the dashboard and I'll have the same reading. Let me give you a better view of that. Okay, so I've just taken off the blanking plates there and put in this new plate with an outlet that I can screw the sender into, and hopefully that will give me the readout I need into the gauge on the dashboard. So hopefully that will all work fine, and the Canems will has an output for the light, like I said. So hopefully that's all a nice, neater fitting, and less fittings up here. I think there was about 4 fittings here previously, all liable to have an oil leak unless you put in some PTFE tape, etc. But you know, if we can use the OEM fittings, that'd be fantastic. Next thing is the water temperature sensor, which screws. You have to unscrew this plug here and plug it in. Now AK will provide that to you. I've never had a great deal of luck with the AK ones. Always a lot of PTFE tape. This fitting here is very fragile because it's had to be drilled out. This thread sort of reducer, if you like, and that always well, it's cracked on me twice now, and it's not a great fitting. So in the previous car, I actually purchased this one, which is only about £3, and this fits in beautifully. Obviously has a connector in there, so you can put this tail in. You have to earth it to the engine block, and the other wire goes to the water temperature gauge, and it registers fine. However, I'm not sure if it actually registers it accurately, because I've only just been informed that this isn't just some random block. You know, there is a component inside, and it is manufactured to work with, you know, the correct gauge, so it reads out on the correct gauge. So the AK one is the correct one, and I'm not 100% sure if this one works correctly. So what I need to do on this car is I'm going to plug it all in, and then you can actually look it up on the Canems GUI on your laptop and just see if it is registering the correct temperature. If it is, then that's fantastic. So if anyone's bought this from a recommendation from my previous video, hopefully it's working. If not, I think it was only about £2.35, so not a big loss. So we'll see if that works, and I'll report back on another video when we've got it all going with a laptop plugged in. But anyway, as it is, it is a great solution. Let's just hope it's got to the right reading output. Alright, so we have to get all of the Canems loom and the AK wiring loom, which is what I'm going to start with, into the car. So we'll get started with that, but just a note on the Canems, I have been having a bit of a think about how I fitted the last one, which I thought was, you know, a good solution. So we're just going to tailor it slightly. So what I've got to do, we're going to still fit it to the left side of the wheel well where there's a large void. So I'm going to cut out a fixing plate. However, I've got a different fixing in mind. I'm actually going to drill holes and use these riv nuts, and we're going to connect go in and put the riv nut in, and we're going to then connect it by a long bolt with rubber washers to hopefully sort of lessen the vibration, although, you know, it's all solid state, so I wouldn't have thought that's going to matter too much considering the kind of rally cars and things that these go into. But yeah, we're going to do that, and that'll still provide, you know, a quick release should this need to be sent off to be reprogrammed or whatever else. But what I will do, I wouldn't want these riv nuts to start spinning if they don't grip enough in the aluminium. So once they're mounted, I will just put a smear of P40 or something on the back, just to try and hold them a bit more securely, so that you know, they can take a bit of aggro with doing the bolt in and out. So that's my idea. But let's start spreading out the AK wiring loom. So we take it pretty steady here, nice and gentle with the wires. We don't want to put any excess strain on there. Just loosely lay the wiring loom in its rough place, and then we can start feeding each of the legs up through the provided holes down each side. So the driver's side is a little busier. We got the leg to go down to the front of the car. We got some thicker cables that go down into the footwell, and of course we got the cables that go out to the rear. Be careful with all the other wires. Make sure they're accessible for the window wiper and high beam, etc. And you shouldn't be having too much of a problem there. So we have the wiring loom basically in place with the legs for the front lights going down the front, and the rear wiring loom loosely laid over the rear there. So we need to start fixing it into place. So it usually starts for me with the fuse block here. It's the one sort of immovable object. It needs to be put into this kind of position. I'm going to suspend it from this scuttle bar just a little bit. You can't go too low, otherwise it will take the kneecaps of your passenger off in an accident, and the IVA man won't like it too low, so it needs to still be obscured by the dash. But I'm going to lower it a little bit to make it a bit more accessible, and also just to lower these wires down a touch. And then I'm quite eager to help my own fitting problems by putting this fuse box somewhere more accessible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I've got enough flex just to bend it around so that it's facing forward. We're actually going to cut a hole into there and have this poking out into the engine bay, which is something I did on my first two cars, my red car and the green car. So it's really good because it saves you having to fumble underneath the dash for fuses. You know, just a quick bonnet open, you can see the fuses, they're easily accessible. I think it's a really good solution. It is a bit tricky, but we're going to have a go. Now, it's a bit difficult for me to video that, or you're just going to see the back of my head in the way, so I'll show you the progress. Alright, so I've got my fibre board in here. I like using this because it's unlike aluminium or whatever, some sort of sheet metal, hasn't got sharp edges, it's really easy to cut and just to work with, and you can even trim it with a craft knife, but it's very, very strong and more than up to the job. Next thing I've done, I've actually swapped this AK Loom extension. I've swapped it over from this side over to here because I wanted all my attachments for the dashboard, which are here. I wanted them more central because that's where the dashboard connections will be, so it's just shifted it all over to the right slightly, so that's good. That means I am going to have to make a little extension. So on that loom you have a connection here that where is it, to plug into the main loom, so I just need to extend that by about 7 or 8 inches, so no dramas there. So the next thing I'm doing is just positioning this roughly on my fibre board and planning, let's get rid of that down there, and planning whereabouts I'm going to be fitting this the fuse blocks, so I can come in front of this this cable, or I can go behind it. In actual fact, coming in front of it actually gives me a little bit more play and flexibility. So I'm just going to mark that up and hopefully be cutting a hole through into the engine bay. Alright then, so there's my first pass at this opening and fitting the fuse box. I think it came out pretty well. Bit too wide on the right hand side, but not noticeable really from any angle. However, I will just pop a little bit of filler in there and tidy that up, but I'm really pleased with that. So let's have a look what I'm going to do now. Once we got this sorted, then we can go ahead and lay the rest of the cables in neatly. So you can see that the fuse box is up there, nice and neat. So now I'm going to mount all these relays and everything else on this bit of fibre board, and once that's all secured in position, we can start zip tying and resting everything else in place. Alright then, so the relays are all nice and solid in there on that bit of fibre board, so that's all good. I've got a couple of brackets in there, nicely rounded off so nothing can chafe on them to hold the wires back, and another one over here, also used for mounting say the immobiliser or something. I've started threading the wires down each footwell here, so got some nice grommets. I'll also be tiger sealing them around when I next have a tiger seal open. Don't want to waste it. So I've been putting 2.5mm zip ties in here, so small little hole right at the top and then a little bit further down, and I've only just loosely put them in there just in case I need to put any more cables through, adjust the lengths, and you know, just in case I need to wrap another cable back through just to take up a bit of slack or something. So that's all good. Now the next thing I'm going to do, because I've just got to wait for some grommets, so I can't do any more of the AK wiring loom. I'm just attempting to form my bracket for the Canems unit. So I haven't got a proper metal bender, but I'll just show you what I do. Alright then, so I've got a couple of bits of steel here against the line that I want to perform a bend on. So I'm going to use my press here which I use for a lot of things, not just for squishing things, but I also use it as a vise sometimes if it's something that needs a little bit more of a hold, or you know, for pushing out bearings and all sorts of things. So basically, I've got to just squish down on that. I'm just basically just going to go for it. Just like that. Obviously I could move this out into the open should I want to, but don't need to. And that is a nice bend right where I want it. So just a quick view of what's going on here. So I've just had my head in the footwell with the drill at different angles. So I pre-drilled the holes in the metal bracket, and then I've been drilling. I tapped these 3 holes, and I drilled straight through the fiberglass there because you can get to the other side to hold the nuts on. Well, certainly while the shark fin is missing, and gives you an easy access hole. Okay, so I've pretty much got a handle on how the 2 plugs are going to be coming in. I'm going to cut out these U shapes. I'm going to place them through the holes and then do the whole bracket up, thereby locking in these 2 fat cables into these voids. I'm going to cut out these, and they'll be able to plug into the ECU. It comes with an OBD socket as well, so that's thankfully got a different couple of mounting options. So I'm just going to be buzzing that straight in anywhere here. So the bits I have a problem with, and I think they still need to be accessible, because I think in the instructions it calls you to replace or plug in another wire here. So I need to somehow fix this somewhere, and also the fuse box with it. And I think it's going to just go up on the sort of roof of the passenger bay. And that's where it went last time. Something's telling me that this is a bit shorter now, or a bit more rigid, so I'm going to cut this back a little bit more. And really, I can't think or plan where to put it until I know how much slack I've got to play with. So I'm pretty much going to be putting the whole lot in there, and then hopefully this will fit up onto the roof, hopefully in the kind of void area, because then I'm hoping to put a bit of trim over the whole lot with a removable sort of access door, magnetic or something. So I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants with that. Anyway, let's get this in. All right, so a quick update. That's kind of in. So I've just got the fuse box and relays just hanging down there. But you can see here, that's all in. Put a flexible grommet around the holes there for those connections. And I'll be buzzing that OBD connector, whatever it is. I'll just be putting some tapping screws over in the far edge there. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Now I'm just going to wait to suspend this. I'm either going to go straight up, or I'm going to make a little bracket. Actually, I've realised I can do just an L bracket, just 2 holes up into the top, and then this is going to go in, fix into the bracket this way, I think. But I'm just going to hold off on that because I'm sure I've got a wire to put into these relays. Next thing I've done is, because I've positioned the wash wiper interface over here, I've got to make a little extension, and that goes from here, and it's got to go into plug 5, which is literally just there. So I've made this extension, and we'll just plug that in. And then the next thing is to get rid of the rest of the Canems wiring loom, which is all down here. I'm going to be making this hole a little bit larger and pushing everything through it. So I start off by drilling a hole and using the largest bit I've got, and then once that's through, being careful not to go into any of the wiring loom on the other side, I start off with the multi-tool and then a file just to ease it out a little bit more.
long as I start to pass. But I do what I do. I do it all for the young in my head. Know you hate when I'm stuck in your past. You gotta learn from my mistakes. I won't make it alive if I live for desire. No, and I won't make it alive if I wait any longer. You wanna walk on the water and uphill world with the fire. Yeah, but I won't make it alive if I stay in your hole. Can be off with the back flips, a million bad habits. Still we good like we make this, but gotta listen to my shit. But when you're looking like that, and it makes my heart stop, and I can't have it like that. So please don't call.
Right, so now the engine loom is in, we need to put a grommet round there to save it all chafing around the sharp edges. I like to use grommet from Trigger handbrakes. I've been using these for a few years now. They do different styles, black and a kind of satin silver, or this more shiny chrome silver. The good thing about these is they are split, so you can just ease them over the wire and loom once you've got it installed. So I'm going to make a cut through here, I'm going to make a small hole here, and it's going to hold the wire and loom in the middle of that larger square hole that I've got, and should look good. And there's the finished job, so nice and neat. So I'm really pleased with all the interior of the engine bay there. Just got to plug it all in. So we're not doing all the connections in this video, just the easy wins. So one of the other ones I'm going to do is extending the throttle cable. So this wire here plugs into the accelerator cable connection down there somewhere, and because of the location of the ECU, it needs to be extended, and I did this on my previous one after an OK from Dave at Canems. He said it's not a problem at all to extend it. Some wires may contain kind of resistors and chips and stuff in here, so you might not be able to extend all of them, but you shouldn't need to extend any more, just this one at the moment. So I'm going to do that by about 17 inches. So we have my extended accelerator cable there, all nicely done. Good idea to stagger your cuts in each of the cables so you don't have a big bulk of connectors or joins or whatever you use to do it. That way you might be able to get it all inside a certain size of conduit instead of the next size up if you had a big stack of connections. So that's all protected and everything. Just to let you know, of course we have to protect everything, so the bolts coming through from the other side of the trigger handbrake bezel, I've put little rubber caps on the end there and super glued them into place, so always make sure there's nothing that can chafe. So I did just get moving with the easier connections. I still need to look up a few, even though I've done it a couple of times. But really, they're marked left hand, right hand, each of the main legs. And I've just gone ahead and chosen my cable run, and pretty much wherever the cable finishes next to a connector, you can plug it in. All the main connectors are different shapes and will only fit into one type of connector, so you shouldn't really be mixing any up. But I've just gone ahead, and the first thing I did was just tethered my earth there, and I'll be making sure that's extremely clean, and then I'll clamp that down. That's a nice M10 into the block. So that kind of denoted where this leg kind of could reach. So that's all good. Some of the lengths are different to my previous one, but we've made everything work, and that's all nice, and there's nice bits of slack in there as well, so nothing's really taut. So we're all good there. I've still got a few things to plug in. So this is my air sensor that goes underneath the this air intake here. You know, I've got to check where my runs are going to go. So I might be zip tying them somewhere or tucking them down somewhere. So we'll have to check all that out to make it all nice and neat. Similarly, I've done this right hand side, so I've got a nice cable run here. That's all going underneath, and then we go to the throttle bottle, throttle control, etc. What's this? Map, right? So so that just tidied it all up. So there's an awful lot of stuff I'm not sure of yet. This will need to go somewhere like that. That seems a little bit short, so that might be coming in a different direction. So we'll have to check that out. And then we've got a load of connectors here that all go sort of behind the starter and cam and knock sensors, etc. I've got to put that 2 reds onto the big heavy red down there with the starter. And we've got that's the knock sensor down there. So yeah, we've got a bit of planning to do, trying to keep things away from heat and come in from the side a bit, so I can drag this right over here, tether it to my nice pipe holder down there, and we'll have a look at that probably in the next video. Alright, so I'm a bit tired of being upside down in the passenger footwell for now, so that's it for the basics of the wiring loom. Join me again for the more technical connections of the wiring loom. Hopefully we'll get it all finished. Must say thank you very much for all your comments and emails. I am replying to each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you again.